Today we're looking to surveil our way to victory on a $65 budget, but with a big transformational sideboard surprise. So here is our $63 7-tick Pioneer Surveil Surprise deck. In this deck, you might remember about a year ago, Wizards had a big errata for Surveil. There's a bunch of cards like Consider that Surveil but didn't have the keyword Surveil. Wizards added the keyword to all of them, and if it wasn't for that, and a big new Lost Caverns of Ixalan edition, and a super sweet surprise transformational sideboard plan, this deck just wouldn't exist. So the main plan of our deck, Plan 1, the primary plan, is we're a Surveil deck. We have Thoughtbound Phantasm, Dimir Spybug, these cheap creatures that grow every time we Surveil. So we play them, and the rest of our deck is just all Surveil cards. So anytime we do anything, they're growing. Pretty easy to get Phantasm into like a 5/5 attacking on turn 3. Dimir Spybug dominates the skies, is this huge flying menace creature, assuming they live. So that's Plan 1. Play these creatures, Surveil a bunch. We also have our big new Lost Caverns of Ixalan edition in Starving Revenant. So Starving Revenant, card that hasn't even seen play in Standard, but is so perfect for this deck. 4 mana 4/4, when it ETBs you Surveil 2, then for each card we put on top of our library, we draw a card and lose 3 life. So we can run this out for 4 mana, leave both cards on top, draw 2 cards, lose 6, or we can Surveil the cards if we don't want to lose life and we fill our graveyard. More importantly, on top of being like a weird, painful Muldrifter, it also has Descend 8, and once we get 8 permanents in our graveyard, whenever we draw a card, our opponent loses a life and we gain a life. And since our deck is so good at surveilling cards into the graveyard, we turn this on pretty quick, and the ability turns into a legit finisher with Disinformation Campaign. Disinformation Campaign, the best Surveil payoff in grindy matchups. Just 3 mana enchantment, ETBs, our opponent discards, we draw. When we Surveil, we get to bounce it back to our hand, and it's really good at just like disrupting the opponent, making them discard, emptying their hand, but it doesn't literally win us the game, but now it does thanks to Starving Revenant. If we have Starving Revenant out, every time we Disinformation Campaign, not only are we drawing a card, not only is our opponent discarding a card, but our opponent's getting drained for 1, so eventually we just drain our opponent out of the game after stripping their hand. So now Disinformation Campaign goes from like grindy disruption into legit finisher. The rest of the deck, the main deck at least, a bunch of Surveil stuff. Fairy Dream Theft, Consider, Search for Iskanta, Card Advantage / Selection that also surveils to trigger our stuff. Cut Down, Thought Erasure, Pylon, almost all of our removal and disruption surveils. Not cut down, but sometimes you just gotta kill an aggro creature. Mana base, pretty typical budget stuff. Not a ton of duels, but some, a bunch of basics, a Hall of the Storm Giants. And then in the sideboard, that's where the surprise plan comes in. So what is the surprise of this deck? And it's the combo of Archfiend of the Dross in Metamorphic Alteration. So if you don't know this combo, Archfiend comes into play with 4 oil counters. At the beginning of your upkeep, you gotta remove an oil counter, and then if you has no oil counters, you'll lose the game. The trick here is we can use Metamorphic Alteration, this weird 2-mana enchantment that when it enters the battlefield, it enchants a creature, and that creature becomes a copy of another creature of our choice to turn one of our opponent's creatures into an Archfiend of the Dross. The problem for our opponent is their Archfiend didn't enter the battlefield, so it has no oil counters. So essentially, when we pull this off, all we do is Alteration, turn your creature into an Archfiend, pass the turn. Our opponent loses a game guaranteed on their upkeep because they can't remove a counter from Archfiend of the Dross. So this comes in 2 big scenarios. So one is, if our opponent doesn't have the way to kill Archfiend of the Dross, we sideboard out some of our Surveil stuff, we sideboard in this combo, and essentially we just win the game. Because the way our opponent fizzles the combo is if they can kill our Archfiend or their own creature with the Alteration on the stack, it fizzles. So if our opponent's a deck that doesn't have good removal for Archfiend, then this comes in. Like Mono Red really can't kill an Archfiend, so this gives us this fast combo kill to seal that win. The other place it comes in is some decks like Rakdos, really good at killing our Phantasm and our spy bugs because they just have a million like Bone Crusher Giants and Fatal Pushes. In those matchups, yeah, they might be able to kill Archfiend, but we're probably not going to be able to win with the Surveil creatures. So we bring in the combo and hope to jank them out. Also sometimes comes in just desperation mode. If we're like, okay, there's no chance we can actually win this matchup, and let's bring in this 2-card combo and see, maybe we can draw and we'll just get them. So that's the surprise of the deck, to improve those bad matchups. Otherwise in the sideboard, Thought Erasure, Disinformation Campaign, Blood Operative, most mostly for grindy matchups. Price of Fame, little expensive if it's not targeting Legend, but more removal. And that is $60 Surveil Surprise for Pioneer. That's our budget magic for this week. So let's jump into some games and see if we can actually surveil our way to some surprise victories. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back in a bit for the wrap up. Need some magic cards? Well, you can snag them from our sponsor, Card Kingdom, over at cardkingdom.com/mtggoldfish. We've got new tokens and playmats, and you can even get the tokens signed if you want. Check them all out over at mtggoldfishmerch.com. All right, budget magic time. We are playing some Surveil Surprise, $65-ish Surveil Surprise in Pioneer this week. And, well, I mean, we got a bunch of Surveil stuff. This hand actually looks not bad. I mean, okay, so in our main deck, we're a Surveil deck, which means things like Thoughtbound Phantasm and Demir's Spybug, those are our bombs. Those are our best cards. We play them, we surveil a bunch, and hopefully get them. Cut down, eh? Well, let's get, this is actually tough. Opponents on white, we can probably afford to get down the Spybug, right? What's the worst thing that could happen with our opponent leading on a plains? Probably nothing too bad. Yeah, let's play the Spybug and pass. The other upside of this is it turns on our pylons. We can tap both creatures to convoke them. Opponent cavern. Oh, they're angels. I see. Land. So we want to surveil, but we also, I think we actually pylon here so we can surveil. We really need to hit our land. Okay, there's two lands. I think we just keep both of those. So it probably looks weird not to cut down because our opponent's going to play other creatures that we can't cut down. But I think getting some counters and making sure we hit our land drop makes it worth spending a premium removal spell, right? Just Valkyrie. Well, that's got to die. That must die. That can't be cut down either. So play the land on black. We have an island coming next turn. We can... Yeah, let's just pylon. Get rid of the Righteous Valkyrie. So what are we scared of now? I think we keep the counter, even though our opponent has Cavern, because of, like, Collected Company effects. I think we can... So we have a cut down still. We're getting a clock going. Like, we're almost... Ooh, that's a good cut down target. That's a good cut down target. Okay. Okay. So... Oh, this is going to turn our Thoughtbound Phantasm. That's counter number 3. Oh, that hand. Righteous Valkyrie, Spun Angel, Kaya's Reconstruction, Portable Hole. No, it's good, bud. It's good. I mean, mostly good. That is a lot of Righteous Valkyries, but I think we're good. Bearby, it's okay, bud. It's okay. We're doing good. We're doing good, Bear. We're doing good. So grow our dorks. Get rid of our Righteous Valkyrie. So there is another Righteous Valkyrie coming, which is awkward. That one we don't have an answer for, although the Spybug does have Menace. So if they play an Angel, we're going to cut down the Bishop of Wings. Opponent's a little pinch on mana, so thankfully they can't like removal plus Angel, so we really want them, all right, to spend their mana on the Righteous Valkyrie. We kill this Bishop of Wings. This means, unless our opponent drew a land, oh, okay, oh, this is great. Now our opponent has to chump block. They have to chump block not to die. We will definitely keep more pylons, and we're going to beat Angels. Our janky $60 of Surveil cards, taking down all the Righteous Valkyries in the world, opponent down to 3, and with a counter in hand, we should just be good, right? Portable Hole. Yeah, I mean, let's go for it. Counter, keep the pylon, grow the dorks, GG. All right, wow, that went way better than I was expecting. Okay. So the question is this a surprise matchup? I think the answer is yes. So our opponent, so the surprise of Arch Fiend of the Draws plus Metamorphic Alterations is you're looking for two things when you bring it in. One, can my opponent kill an Archfiend of the Dross? So in matchups where our opponent can't easily kill it, the combo becomes very good. The other thing we're looking at is how well can our opponent kill our dorks? Some matchups like Rakdos, they can just kill our dorks so easily with stomps and fatal pushes that the Surveil plan's not that good. This is one of the matchups where the Surveil plan I think is fine, but I think the combo is really good because Angel's not that good at killing Archfiend of the Dross. So we're gonna go like half and half and be like partly Surveil, partly have the combo. Sure. A couple removal spells. Fairy Dream Theft gives us some surveilling. Hopefully these Sinister Sabotages are good. Oh, yeah, we gotta mill the Disinformation campaign. We already have one of them, so we already have that effect if we need it. Cavern would be obnoxious. That's the risk of leaving in the Okay, Nykthos, not a Cavern. Youthful Valkyrie. Oh, well, all right. That's a combo piece. We can't really do anything with it yet, so I guess we gotta pass. Well, actually, are we just gonna cut down? Yeah, let's attack and cut down. That's fine. I think we're gonna kill this Youthful Valkyrie anyway. Bound it down to 19. Plus they have Nykthos, so there's extra value to just keeping the pips off the battlefield, opponent. Can we draw land? That's a real question. Bishop of Wings. Oh, all right. Well, we consider to try to find a land. Gotta mill the removal spell, sadly. Ugh. All right, Fairy Dream Theft. Sure. Surveil. Milling our 2 removal spells hurts, but I mean, all the removal in the world's like, in the Cavern. Oh, this is looking bad. Another Bishop of Wings. If our opponent ever finds an angel, and we can't even draw a blue source and counter it, yeah. All right, this is looking kind of bad since we... Oh my god, that's still not a land. Where are our lands? I mean, we can pile on still by tapping both of our dorks. Portable Hole. Well, I guess we got to do it now. Use it or lose it. Well, kill a bishop. Can we please find a land off... Wow, still no lands. We've had to mill so many. Oh boy. If we had just had a couple lands, this hand would have been so good because we have all of our removal on the top of our deck, but we've had to surveil it away because we don't have lands to cast it. All right, opponent's out of 2 cards in hand. Hopefully it's not like a Righteous Valkyrie. Finds a Resplendent Angel. I don't know if I've ever seen Reconstruction X1 before. Wow, that's still not a land. Well, at this point... There's not a whole lot we can do. Apparently there's only like 2 lands in the top million. Yeah, 18 cards of our deck. Jeez. All right, there goes our Spy Bug. Yeah, now we're... So how could we win this? The only possible chance is the combo, I think. So opponent hits us down to 12. It's got to start with drawing a land right now. Okay, we draw a Swamp. Is there any mathematical way we can do this? So we can jump... yeah, the Resplendent Angel just beats us. Oh, if we'd only hit the lands earlier. Well, a Disinformation campaign, draw a card. There's the lands. So we need to somehow survive 2 turns. Next turn we have Archfiend as a blocker. Oh, yeah, that does it for sure. Now we just literally die. Wow. Oh, we were so close in so many ways. We're running it back. I think our setup's good. We just need to draw more lands and we would have had it. We would have had it. What do you got, Angels? We're on the play. Well, we got all of our lands this game. This hand kind of sucks, though. Oh, no. Okay. Well, we're not keeping this one. All right. Go. Surprise combo. Go. Okay, so we have 5 cards, but we do have the full combo in hand, which means if we can hit one more land in dodge removal, we can just win. Even with this horrible 5-card no surveil hand, Bishop of Wings. Sure, that's a creature. Another Archfiend of the Dross. Okay, go. Can we hit a land? Oh, it would be so sweet to win this. After no lands into double mulligan all lands. Oh, if we can pull this out, that would be such an impressive win. About it. Yada. Okay, gain some life. I mean, life gain doesn't really matter. That's another upside of this combo is cut down. Well, we would have preferred a land, but we'll get rid of Giada. The other upside of this backup combo, I mentioned, okay, it's good when our opponent can't kill Archfiend. It's good when they can kill our cheap surveil stuff. The other upside of this is it's good against life gain because it just wins no matter what. And because of the Amelia combo, decks getting up to like 100 life is not a surprising thing in current Pioneer. Wow, are we gonna refuse to draw land again? This sabotage. Not looking great against double caverns. Well, that's a land. Okay. Well, we just got to go for it. Archfiend of the Dross. Please tell me you can't kill it. No Coco's good. Ugh, Skyclave. Apparition. All right. So there goes Archfiend number 1. Thankfully, we have a backup. We do have a backup. We dropped to 6. I mean, we got no choice, right? Oh, if we had one more land, we could combo right away and just win here. We still got to run it out, though, or we just die. There's no world. Can we play the Revenant? Not really. If we play the Revenant, we're going to die. Yeah, we got to get it out. Okay, fingers crossed. No removal, no removal. And somehow, after some really clunky drawings against a really good deck, we still get a shot. That's the power of the surprise. That's the power of the surprise. Don't be looking at that Archfiend opponent. No, no, no. Shaper Sanctuary, that is 100% fine. Just play an Angel. Tap out and play an Angel. It'll be fine. I wonder if Archfiend sets off red. Wow, they just push with everything. Well, we're gonna block the Angel. I wonder if our opponent knows, like, how well known is Archfiend Metamorphic Alteration combo? Is that a thing people know about? Opponent deck to 26 makes a Spirit. Tap out? Nope. All right, well, we're gonna die if we don't, so here goes nothing. Metamorphic Alteration. When it ETBs, you turn a creature into another creature. So we want to put this on our opponent's most resilient creature, which I guess is Bishop of Wings. Opponent gets to draw a card. We do have counter backup, which means this should work. So Bishop, all right, becomes an Archfiend of the draws. No counters because it didn't ETB, upkeep, and whoo! All right. Well, we surveilled him in game 1. Game 2, couldn't draw land to save our life. Game 3, the surprise came in. And that's an example of how the surprise matters. Like, yes, we had fun, but we wouldn't have won that without the surprise. That was the full-on surprise game. Wow. Okay. Surprise, surprise. Let's keep doing that. Sweet, 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 sweet. All right. Budget magic time. We are playing some more Surveil Surprise in a Pioneer this week. I think I'm just going with Pioneer Explorer being the same thing at this point. Close enough, right? Not 100%, but pretty close. And, well, hopefully it's a good Disinformation Campaign matchup. Boy, Disinformation Campaign is such a cool card. I remember, ooh, okay, Control. Well, that means a Disinformation Campaign might actually be pretty good if we can resolve it. But the repeatable, like, you discard, we draw, very good engine. One of the cool things about this deck is Disinformation Campaign before, it was kind of just like a grindy engine, but Starving Revenant actually makes it into a finisher now if we can descend. Well, let's start the Surveilling. Fairy Dream Theft. I don't think we want another Thoughtbound Phantasm. I imagine that our opponent is blue-white control and going to be wrathing our board and or killing our stuff. Opponent with the tap land. Ugh. All right, let's just Dream Theft. It's tempting to try to get down the Disinformation Campaign. I really don't want to get it censored. We will keep the Revenant, though. I mean, next turn we get up to 4 mana, we can just start jamming. Dream Theft ya. Down to 19. Opponent cycles an irrigated farmland. Sure. We need one more counter to turn on this Phantasm. Well, I mean, we have 2 Starving Revenants. I expect whatever we do this turn's about to get countered. Let's attack first. I know this looks awkward. We're hoping that our opponent, like, all right, plays a Wandering Emperor or something. Well, okay. Starving Revenant. I know it looks weird not to try to Surveil first, but I think we want to try to force our opponent's hand into action so we can resolve the Revenant. But, all right, opponent, show us your counter. Oh, Memory Deluge. Okay, we will accept that. I mean, they might find a Wrath, but Starving Revenant, draw 2, grow the Phantasm. I mean, we got a clock. If our opponent does not have a sweeper, they're actually in a whole heap of trouble. Opponent creature land. Wow. I mean, our opponent could have Wandering Emperor still, but do we want a Disinformation Campaign first? If we Disinformation Campaign, like, how much do we value this Disinformation Campaign? If we play it first and our opponent wants to counter, that means then they can't Wandering Emperor. Or we attack first, and if they Wandering Emperor, then we get down to Disinformation Campaign. Or we have the option at least. Yeah, let's swing first, I think. Get in there. If you got it, you got it. Would you like to take 11? Just a little off the top. Ooh, get lost. Okay, that's fine. I mean, we would rather not happen, but better than Wandering Emperor, I think. We might just play another Revenant. That might be the better bet here. If we play a land, we can pay for Censor. Yeah, I think we play the Pathway on black, and let's just Revenant. They could like veto or something the disinformation campaign. Resolves. We're probably just gonna, well, okay, we'll mill the, I was gonna say we're probably just gonna take the damage, but we'll mill the Dream Theft. That's kind of a free mill. It's actually better in the graveyard here. Grow the Phantasm. Second time we've grown this Phantasm post-combat. I guess we start the mapping because we're not doing anything else this turn. Well, Sinister Sabotage worth keeping. A little worse now that our opponent knows that it's there, but still, I mean, March of Otherworldly Light kills the Phantasm. We got our opponent down to 10, and we still have a big board. And our opponent has not done much of anything yet. Opponent passes. We draw the Sabotage. Are we just going to beat this control deck? 60, 65 bucks of Surveilling. Well, get in there. Opponent. How about 7? All right, there's the Wandering Emperor, but we can counter it. They do have 2 mana up. I think we try. So we try to counter it. If they counter back, then we definitely get down to this information campaign. All right, there's the veto. Well, I mean, somehow the way we have played, we have managed to protect this disinformation campaign, which is actually like a really sweet engine against the control deck. So I'm sure, yeah, gonna eat the Revenant. That's fine. Well, all right, opponent. Oh, welcome to 2024. How about some disinformation? This card was prophetic. When did Guilds of Ravnica come out? 2018? Something like that? Watsy Adramis. Watsy. Who's that guy that predicted things? Nostradamus? Something like that. Anyway, Wizards foretold the rise of disinformation campaigns. We're going to go to combat. We're going to swing down to 6. Opponent has 2 cards in hand. I mean, yeah, let's grind. Consider. Surveil. We'll keep another disinformation campaign. Pick up a disinformation campaign. It never ends. The fake news never ends. Disinformation campaign. Opponent. So even if our opponent has counters, we're going to empty their hand here. Ooh. Are we going to empty their hand here? Now we drew Sinister Sabotage, and I'm tempted to leave the counter up. I think that's better. Sphinx's Rev. Yeah. We would prefer that not to happen. Counter it. Mill the... Do we mill the cut down? We might actually want that. It kills the creature land or the token. We are down to 11 thanks to taking 9 from our Starving Revenants. And we have another one in hand. Okay, opponent land. Fires up the creature land. Okay, now we're in race mode. I'm glad we kept the cut down. So we dropped to 5. I mean, the appealing part is we have the win in 2 turns if we can just attack with these Fairy Dream Thefts, which are apparently pretty good aggro threats. They've done a lot of damage this game. I think we got to put them on the 2-turn clock. So we hit you to 3. We play the Revenant. They can block the ground creature. We mill both to avoid taking more damage. And now I think we just pass. So if our opponent fires up the creature land and tries to put counters on it with maps, we can kill it. The question is, does our opponent, do they go, wow, they're just gonna Memory Deluge. All right, so opponent's just gonna Memory Deluge. The question was, do they try to go for it? 1, 2, 3. I guess the problem is they don't have enough mana to activate both and map. They're 1 mana short from going for it. So opponent's gonna Memory Deluge. Do you find a Supreme Verdict, opponent? Wrath or bust, wrath or bust. I mean, they at least need to be able to kill a flyer, right? Like at a minimum. I mean, I guess they can sort of try to chump block. They don't know about the cut down and the pylon. Like, it's not gonna work, but maybe they can convince themselves they can block through it. Wow, opponent's gonna pass? Oh, we should have it then, right? Like, if they try to block with the creature land, we just kill it. Consider. Well, okay, so step 1, cut down the token. And now our opponent should just be dead even through the creature land. Go to combat, swing, and we're taking down the control deck? No! Who plays Settle the Wreckage, seriously? Who plays Settle the Wreckage in 2024? Oh my god, they got us. The question is, do we try to consider to hit a counter? The odds are so low. I think we have 2 counters left in our deck. I mean, the good news is we're a budget deck, so we have like infinite basics. Yeah, I mean, I guess we gotta try. Search for Escanta. Do we keep it? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's go to the graveyard. Thought Erasure. Well, that would have been good pre-combat. That would have been very good pre-combat. Well, our reward for losing our board is we get 3 lands, which with this information campaign is kind of relevant. Now, unfortunately, we just need to pass because remember, our opponent has these 2 creature lands. So we're now at risk of dying. All right, so this is very interesting. Our opponent is going to go for the kill here. We just need to survive, right? Because we have this Hall of the Storm Giants. So I think even after that blowout would settle, we should be good. So opponent fires up both of their creature lands. They can use the map token to try to get 5 power. In response, we pile on, and this should leave our opponent dead on board. Like, our Hall of the Storm Giants has Ward 3. Our opponent could not attack with the... All right. Yeah, I guess we'll keep the Revenant. I don't think any of this actually matters because we should actually just have the win here with the Hall of the Storm Giants, the one of fun of. Maybe that's the surprise of this match. Our one of creature land. Well, fire it up, opponent. Settle the Wreckage was good, but not good enough. And we surveilled our way through quite impressively, honestly. That was a sweet win. This is definitely not a matchup where we should be bringing in the combo. Our opponent doesn't have enough creatures. So for the surprise Archfiend combo to work, our opponent does need to have a creature. If they don't have a creature, it doesn't do anything. So blue-white control is like the worst matchup, which means our sideboard isn't actually that good in this matchup. We get a couple more Thought Erasures. I think our main plan here is going to be really to just grind our opponent out with a disinformation campaign. I guess it's possible we could get like a super aggro win if we just stuck Surveil creatures and our opponent didn't have removal, but I think it's more likely that we're going to be in for a bit of a grind here. Well, okay. I actually really like this hand. We have 4 counters in the deck, just the Sinister Sabotages. So we've drawn half of our counter spells, which is exactly what you want to see against a control deck. Yeah, I don't think... I'm skeptical that we can actually scale a Thoughtbound Phantasm enough to do anything in this matchup. These Fairy Dream Thefts have been sneaky heroes. Like, they're in the deck to surveil and then eventually be card advantage, but... Yeah, we're going to Spybug first. We could Thought Erasure first. I don't think they can do anything too impactful with 3 mana, though. Wow, okay, cycling, sure. I don't think our opponent can do anything too impactful with 3. 4 mana is a lot more scary. So it's worth it to try to get down the Spybug. Now we have a weird decision, though. I think we're gonna, of course, play conservative. I can't resist leaving up the counters. We have 2 counters. Why risk it? Why risk it? Eventually, we'll draw enough lands, as we have here, that we can do things and leave up counters. Ooh, we're definitely milling that Dream Theft. Is Dream Theft actually good? It's actually like insane in this deck, right? It's 1 mana trigger all of our Surveil stuff, and then, well, yeah, there goes counter number 1 on She Wandering Emperor. Although we also get to grow our Dork, and I think we'll keep the Consider. Like, 1 mana trigger Surveil is already good, and being surveillable into the graveyard for value is also good. Opponent land. Oh, our budget mana base. We have a lot of basics in this deck, which is good when we get Settle the Wreckage, but our budget mana base, you can see a little bit of color issues here. Thought Erasure and Sinister Sabotage, which means... Really? Ottawa, eh? Gonna Ottawa our Spybug? Okay, well, Ottawa back to hand. I'm surprised this is going so well. The other value of these Dream Thefts is apparently they're so bad that opponents don't want to actually kill them. They're only 1/1, so who wants to spend real removal on them? Well, yeah, let's consider. I guess if we have a Sphinx's... Wow, okay. We'd rather have another Blue Source at some point. Because I guess we're just hauling down these Dream Thefts. We can't really do a thing and leave up a counter, so I guess we're just not going to do a thing. And we're just going to leave up counters. Opponent, Castle Vantress. Got to get that value. Digging, both to the bottom. Got that settle, opponent? Are we settling the Wreckage? Opponent's going to need... they're going to need something, or they're going to die to Fairy Dream Thefts of all things. Well, that's a Blue Source. It's a little tepid, but it will be a Blue Source, opponent. Yes! They had to get lost to Fairy Dream Theft. Dream Thief. That's so good. That's so bad. Like, that we get 2 map tokens. The thing they killed, we draw a card with from the graveyard, and it was only dealing 1 damage. That's how you know things are not going well for your... Wow, all right, we hit another land. That's actually kind of fine. We'd rather have blue mana, but still, we'll accept it. Map number 2? Yeah, actually, I think we're going to mill this Sabotage. I don't want our opponent to know we have Sabotages. We already have 2 in hand. Wandering Emperor, main phase. Well, we're going to try to counter it. We already have 2 in hand. If we leave that one, our opponent's gonna know we have Sabotages in hand. All right, there's an Absorb. Sure. Opponent goes back up to 8. We finally developed our mana, though. So now we can, we can actually do things. There's another blue source. We can actually do multiple things. So we can, Starving Revenant and leave up a counter, or Spy Bug. Can we Spy Bug? Yeah, I guess we just got to Revenant. We still only have, let's mill the land, draw the Azcanta, and I guess we just pass. Opponent gonna make a 2/2. I think we're still in a good spot here, though. I would rather be in our spot than our opponent's spot. We're finally hitting our blue sources where we can do multiple. Wow, Dream Trawler. Counter that. Yeah, we're in a very bad spot if this resolves. Oh, veto. Okay, we have 1 turn to draw removal. We need to draw removal. Thank you, Magic Gods. Right here is the words I was about to say. Since our opponent doesn't have any cards in hand, they cannot currently protect the Dream Trawler. So we can... we're out of counters, so we might as well run our stuff out. Spy Bug. Pylon. Get rid of the... Wow, that was so lucky. That Dream Trawler probably would have beat us, but somehow we got our opponent out of cards. Now we don't even want the lands. To the graveyard. Grow the Spy Bugs. Write out the Azcanta. It's on you, opponent. It's on you. Opponent blocks. Can they top deck a Wrath? Are they going to get us with a Settle? Just scoop, opponent. Cycles of farmland. Scoops it up. Looking at the Spy Bugs. Playing the land. And we did it. We took down the control deck. $65 Surveil surprise, mill the land, grow the dorks, opponent scoops it up, and somehow, through the Settle the Wreckages against the control deck, we actually picked up the win. All right, maybe this deck's sweet. Maybe it's sweet. Budget Magic time. We are playing some more Surveil Surprise in Pioneer, and we're going to keep this. We got a lot of lands, but Thoughtbound Phantasm is actually a good draw, but it's probably going to die. But search for Azcanta, and Disinformation Campaign, kind of a combo. It's a slow, grindy combo, but it is a combo. Opponent. Rakdos. All right, Blood Tithe Harvester. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think Rakdos, it's just the best deck in the format, right? It's always tough to beat Rakdos just because it's such a good deck. They're also very good at killing our Surveil dorks. Opponent gets in with Blood Tithe Harvester. Well, let the grinding begin. Search for Azcanta. What do we got on top? And do we even want a Phantasm? So if we keep it, we Disinformation Campaign. Get our Twitter on. Make our opponent discard. We get to draw a card. All right, a counter could be useful at some point. This lets us next turn pick up Disinformation Campaign, play the Phantasm. Really scared of a Shieldred here. And then Disinformation Campaign again off of this Contest Surveil. All right, that's unfortunate. Removal. We need removal, and we need it right now. Pick up Disinformation Campaign. Okay. Pylon counts. That is a removal spell. That's actually pretty good. Wow, we got lucky there. So Thoughtbound Phantasm. I think we'll just pass. We want to get max value out of this Phantasm. So we want our opponent to either sack the Blood Tithe Harvester or attack with it. And then we can Pylon. Ooh, okay. We got a shot. Pylon, kill the Shieldred. Oh, this is big. This is big. And we get to Surveil. Oh. Do we keep both? I think we mill both. Actually, well, milling both, yeah, gets us closest to flipping search for Azcanta. So now our Phantasm survives, thanks to the counter. And now, really? Oh. Okay. Another Shieldred. Well, mill the land. Grow the Phantasm. Draw search for his Kanta. The big deal here is the Shieldred really shuts down our disinformation campaign play to the point where I'm not even sure, like, do we even play it? We can play it, we get rid of our opponent's last card. I think we're better off just leaving up the counter. This is gonna be real close. Opponent also has 2 creature lands. Take Numa. To get back Shieldred. That's so many Shieldreds. All right, we really need to find removal, like now-ish. Again, mill the Spybug, not removal. Flip his Kanta. Draw removal, please. One time. Oh, Pylon, okay. The Pylon's coming through again. Wow, these removal spells have been timely. I mean, I guess our opponent can't complain too much because they're on their 3rd Shieldred, but we have managed to keep drawing just enough removal to stay in this game. Okay, so we're actually not in the worst shape, right? Because Shieldred's legendary. Blood Tithe Harvester, sure. Actually, should we counter this? I think it's fine. I think we gotta let that go. We really gotta keep Shieldred 3 from resolving. So we can kill Shieldred. Tap the Phantasm. So we can still search for Azcanta. Get rid of the Shieldred. Mill the Dream Theft. Mill the land. This also turns on Disinformation Campaign, which maybe can get rid of that Shieldred. Are we gonna stabilize? This would be thought erasure. Okay, well, that definitely can get rid of the Shieldred. And a cut down, also relevant. Disinformation Campaign, make you discard. We tapped in a way that we can't cast another Disinformation Campaign. We got a little auto-tapped. Just a smidge auto-tap there. I mean, I guess we can just Disinformation Campaign again to get rid of the Shieldred. The way this goes most wrong is if they draw a removal spell for the Phantasm. Oh boy, if we untap here. If we untap and we're not dead, we should be able to pretty much lock this one down with 2 counters in hand. Oh, an opponent scoops it up. Oh my goodness, okay. Wow. Okay, we beat Rakdos. Rakdos is such a hard matchup. This is such a weird matchup. So here's my take on the Rakdos matchup. Rakdos, they can kill Archfiend to the Dross. The thing is, they're really, really, really good at killing our Surveil threats, like Dimir Spybug, Thoughtbound Phantasm. They have Fatal Pushes, they got Bone Crusher Giants. So I think it's worth bringing in the combo. Even though this is not a matchup where the combo is super likely to stick, just because they have so many Fatal Pushes and Bone Crusher Giants to stop our Surveil plan. So I think we're going full on, take out all the Surveil stuff. We'll keep in the grindy stuff, the Thought Erasure, Disinformation Campaign, but take out all the cheap Surveil creatures and try to see if we can jank them out with the combo. Get him with a surprise. Get him with a surprise. Can we get him with a surprise? But really, like, this is more... Like, against Angels, we wanted to bring in the combo because it's just legit good in that matchup. Well, we got 2 alterations. Can we find the Archfiend? We wanted to bring it in. In this matchup, we kind of do it out of desperation. Inty. All right. I mean, I think we have to keep the cut down. We want to land here, but more importantly, we need to kill this Inty. Price of Fame, sure. I mean, Price of Fame is a good answer to Shieldred. A little bit expensive against non-legendary stuff, but it does Surveil. Croxa. Oh. So the obvious choice to discard is one of the alterations, but I don't think we want to show our opponent that we have them. So we're going to pitch the Revenant instead. The problem is if we show our opponent we have them, then they are going to know that they need to play around the combo. Let's get down the Azcanta, play the land on blue, go. I mean, so we have 2 alterations. Take Numa. Oh God, Arch. Oh wow. Oh my goodness. Can we get the reverse Reno? I think we milled the Pylon. Can we find a land? No, and 3rd Price of Fame. Okay, so hilariously, our opponent has played one of our combo pieces. So if our opponent taps out to play a creature, we can just combo off of their Archfiend. Was not expecting that. I bet our opponent sideboarded that in too. Oh, all right, Fable the Mirror Breaker. Oh, it's so risky to go for it though. Disinformation Campaign to the graveyard. Draw, consider. Well, let's consider. The problem is if, thought erasure. Okay. All right, I think what we do, the problem is if our opponent has a removal spell, they can kill their own goblin token to fizzle the combo. So I think rather than just running out the combo, I think we keep the thought erasure, do a hand check. We're not going to die this turn and try to set up for the combo kill next turn. Let's see what they got in hand. Double removal. Okay, so we need our opponent to play one of their other creatures. I think we have to take Fatal Push because they're going to get a treasure off this goblin, so they're going to be able to revolt it. So I think we have to take the Fatal Push, and then our hope is that our opponent like runs out the Graveyard Trespasser, which doesn't knight a Bone Crusher, and then we alterations it and get the combo kill. Mill the Dream Theft. All right. Well, I mean, please tap out and play the Graveyard Trespasser. The problem is, so if they keep the Bone Crusher in hand and, they loot away the Graveyard Trespasser. Yeah, I guess they're not super motivated to run it out. Oh, play the Bone Crusher. Go blank. Sure. Well, discard. I mean, it all comes down to this. Will you please just tap your mana? Don't leave up the Bone Crusher. All right. Search for Riscanta. There's a land. I mean, I guess in theory we could just kill the Archfiend, but then I don't know how we realistically win with this Crocs in the graveyard. I think we just got to go for it, right? Because we're literally dead on board. So I think we have to just try to combo on the Goblin token and hope that our opponent doesn't know what's up. I mean, it is a surprise deck, right? So hopefully, yeah, I know, Bear. I know it's sketchy. Bear, it's okay. It's okay. We're going to try it. We're going to try it. We're going to try it. All right. Alterations, Goblin, no Bone Crusher. Does our opponent know how this combo works? If they do, they win. If they don't, we win. Opponents think it. Oh my God, they let it go. Oh no! Our opponent doesn't know the surprise. They don't know the surprise. Okay, well, your go. Enjoy your Archfiend with 0 counters. And that is how you luck into a victory. Well, you know the people in the comments that always say never scoop because you don't know what your opponent's going to do? I guess this is a good example because with optimal play, we are 100% dead there. Sometimes your opponent doesn't see it. They don't know the combo. And yeah, they could have fizzled it, right? The Bone Crusher on the Goblin in response wins our opponent that game. Budget magic time. We are doing some more Surveil surprising in Pioneer this week. Also, I've officially decided that Explorer, I'm just calling it Pioneer now. I think it's close enough. We've reached the close enough stage of Explorer's life. This hand, if our stuff lives, it's great. I mean, we can get pretty aggro. Ooh. Okay. Sunken Citadel, eh? Well, I mean, we have 2 Surveil payoffs. We have double Consider in hand. Yes, it is. It is nice. Grab the it's Waste Not. Oh my God. Okay. Well, I mean, this is literally as aggro as one of our starts can be. So we get to Fairy Dream Theft, Surveil, Grow the Dorks. Let's see if this is good enough. I mean, our stuff, we're going to hit for a ton of damage. The question's going to be what removal does our opponent have? So Grow the Dorks, Consider, we might actually just keep a land for discarding purposes. Yeah, let's keep a land. Grow the Dorks. Consider. Sinister Sabotage. I don't know if it's going to remain in our hand, but Grow the Dorks, and we are attacking for 9 on turn 3, including a 4/4 Flying Menacer. I mean, opponents theoretically like dead next turn unless they can do something, which, yeah, Waste Not has a lot of removal. There's a Fatal Push. Come on, just one removal spell, please. Oh, Bitter Triumph. Well, now we're down to the Fairy Dream Theft beatdowns. Get in there, buddy. We went from a 1 turn clock theoretically, well, we are countering that, to a 11 turn clock. Shielder number 1 down. Land to the bottom. I mean, so in theory, getting out of cards is good against Waste Not, although it's not fully good because they do have the Gaia Reach Sanitarium. This deck might want to, double Waste Not. This deck might want a Field of Ruin. Yeah, I'm telling you, Sunken Citadel, this is like my biggest sleeper from Ixalan. I think this card is just scratching the surface of its potential. Bone it down to 8. Oh, triple. Oh, we're never beating triple waste knot. We got to counter that. I mean, I don't think we're legitimately beating double waste knot. The thing about the waste knot deck is when you have your waste knots, the deck is one of the strongest decks in the format. The thing is, you only got one waste knot, right? And you don't always draw your waste knot. When you don't draw your waste knot, well, hitting a land there is good. Giving your opponent mana, I think, is the best case scenario with 2 waste knots out. And a fatal push. Well, Fair Dream Theft. You do you. Okay, Revenant's good, although I don't know if do we draw cards? Let's mill the Dream Theft, draw. Hall of the Storm Giants is actually a pretty good draw. That could be a relevant card. And we've descended, so we get to ping you and hit you to 6. And this also punishes our opponent a little bit for Gaia Reaching, right? Okay, Gaia Reach into Wisconta. So opponent's going to draw to you. We get a Starving Revenant trigger. Revenant actually adds a new line of attack to this deck that it just did not have. Found it. Oh, well, there goes our Hall of the Storm Giants plan. Okay, sure. Field of Ruin. I do think this deck, so one of the weaknesses of this deck, I think, is the mana base. It's functional, but you can tell it's a little bit budget. Field of Ruin, though, is not expensive. I think a couple of Field of Ruins the deck can support. Ooh, well, yeah, that's kind of brutal. We really needed that Revenant. Island. Well, let's draw a card. Fairy Dream Theft into Sinister Sabotage. Well, we gotta hold on to this land for discarding if they Gaia Reach. Yeah, we cannot let Shieldred resolve. They're gonna loot in response. Well, we'll discard the land. I mean, we are keeping this very close. Considering our opponent has 2 waste knots going, the fact that we're even in this game as much as we are is kind of a miracle. 2 waste knots is usually just unbeatable. And they've been able to Gaia Reach every turn off of 2 lands because of Sunken Citadel. All right. Wow, that's a greedy Thoughtseize. Wait a minute. Our opponent just put themselves to 2. Bitter Triumph. If we can draw Starving Revenant, I think we can win. Bona hits us down to 6. Oh, Disinformation Campaign. Well, I mean, we got cast it to draw a card. Revenant, Swamp. Let's hold on to it. I think we want to be discarding lands, right? That's the best thing we can discard. Revenant. We need a Revenant. Cut Down. Well, Cut Down actually buys us potentially another 2 turns, actually. Opponent makes a bunch of mana, we need like 2 points of damage. We want a Dream Theft here, but I think the problem is if we take the hit here and then kill the zombie during our turn, we're still on a 2-turn clock, right? We have, 2 Revenants left? I think we need to maximize the number of draw steps we get, I think. So we need to cut down a zombie here. So now we still have 2 more turns, theoretically. Because if we can find Starving Revenant, we just win. Island, that's not a Revenant. We can do this main phase, though. Go to 3. Revenant. Oh, another land. All right, play the land best of turn. Well, I think this is going to come down to... Actually, what happens if we Revenant now? Do we die? Oh, Aclazotz. So if we Revenant, how does that actually work? Is it a draw? Oh, we're going to die first, aren't we? We're going to die, its ability is going to trigger because we're too low on life. We can't pick up the Disinformation. Yeah, all right. None of it matters anyway. Yeah, I think once we get to 3, we can't draw enough to win immediately with a Revenant. We put up a pretty good battle for our opponent having double waste knot. Like, I think, considering how devastating double waste knot is, the fact that we actually were in that game and came super close to actually stealing the win, I actually feel kind of good about that performance. A moral victory. I know it. No one likes the moral victories, but that kind of feels like a moral victory considering how the game went. I don't think this is a combo matchup. Our opponent doesn't play enough creatures. So I think we just want to maximize like the grind with the Disinformation campaigns and Thought Erasures. I think it's probably our best plan. The problem is so it's not really a combo matchup, but it's also not really a great 1-drop Surveil creature matchup just because of our opponent does have a lot of removal. They're essentially they are mono black. Well, I mean, that's a good hand. That is a good hand of janky Surveil cards. So I know people are going to ask, how big of a deal are the Surveil lands for this deck? I mean, I think they're very good, right? I think we would definitely play a playset of the Demir's Surveil land in this deck. I'm not sure we'd play off-color Surveil lands. Then you're getting a lot of tap lands. And we do want to curve out, right? We do have 1-drops, 2-drops. We do care about curving out. I imagine they take... I mean, Disinformation Campaign is our best long game card. Wow, they just take the counter. Okay. Well, Schwimp go. Come on, no more discard. If we can start... Ooh, okay. We actually get to Disinformation... Oh. We still Disinformation Campaign, right? This could mean that they didn't have an untapped land and they have Waste Not in hand, and then we get kind of punished for not Thought Erasuring. But Disinformation Campaign, Thought Erasure, pick it up is so much better. Go blank. Well, we can get rid of one of the Disinformation Campaigns. Well, can we? Yeah, I think we get rid of Disinformation Campaign and Revenant. We definitely need the Thought Erasure. Search for Azcanta. Well, let's Thought Erasure you. Liliana, also Liliana, and a land. How do we get through? I mean, we basically need a pylon, right? So we get to Surveil. We pick up the Disinformation Campaign. Yeah, so Liliana is going to be a hassle. It's going to make it hard to stick a creature. Opponent, Liliana. Going to take it down, I assume. Get rid of the Phantasm. Yup. They actually could agree to their way to not doing that. Another price. We're drawing the wrong removal spell. Well, Disinformation Campaign. Get rid of your last card. Play the Swamp past the turn. Can we find a way to beat this Liliana before it beats us? Oh, please, Gaia Reach Sanitarium. Please. Please. Yes, think your way into an activation of that Gaia Reach. But how do you pass up the value? You know that card in your hand's not very good. You gotta improve it, right? You gotta improve it. Activate the... Oh, opponent's just gonna discard. All right. Well, price fame down. Opponent discards a Sheoldred's Edict. We draw a Consider. Yeah, I really wish Price of Fame would kill Planeswalkers. I bet if it was printed today, it would. little bit old. Opponent. But yeah, I think the Surveil lands would be good. Well, we're gonna be empty-handed here. We're gonna be empty-handed, but we are gonna be able to flip this Azcanta pretty quickly. And Azcanta Disinformation Campaign's pretty sweet. Well, search for Azcanta. Mill the land. If we draw a land, we want it to be a blue source. We do get to flip the Azcanta. Might be a little bit greedy. Another Disinformation Campaign. So we give up our Surveil every turn lock. But this lets us dig for... Well, all right, we'll play the Spy Bug just as a way to make our opponent tick down Liliana. But Azcanta is a way we can dig for a pylon. The way we absolutely 100% lose this game is Liliana Ultimate. We cannot let Liliana Ultimate. Yeah, we'll discard the land. Opponent also discards a land. Duresses, well, okay, I guess we should have discarded Disinformation Campaign. Could have had a land left over. Opponent gonna take it down. We draw a Consider. Well, that's not the worst, right? So we can Consider. I think we actually keep the Spy Bug here. This is going to lead to us losing our Disinformation Campaign. But this is a way we can actually hopefully get rid of Liliana. Opponent gonna loot. We'll discard a Sinister Sabotage. I mean, we're gonna discard everything here, so it doesn't really matter what order we do it in. Yeah, our hand's gonna be empty. Wow, they discarded. Ooh, boy, that's a draw. That is a really, really big draw. Out of every land we could draw, Hall of the Storm Giants is really the only one that's a good draw here. Okay, that changes things. That's a good way to get rid of a Liliana. Opponent gonna loot. Yeah, we let it go, I think. We lose a land. We could have Azcanted in response, but then we're gonna have to discard it to Liliana. We kind of just want to hit a Surveil card. If we can hit a Surveil card, we grow the Spy Bug and it kills. Well, okay, there's a pylon. We might still just pile on the Liliana. This looks so weird, but I think what we do is we pile on the Liliana, convoking the Spy Bug, and then we still have an Azcanta activation. You can see that, wow, get rid of both lands. You can see the difference with Waste Not. When all their Gaia Reach Sanitarium activations have a Waste Not out, the deck's so absurd. But when they don't have one, like, now they're doing nothing. Like, they're just kind of like, it goes from looking like the most busted deck of all time to looking like one of the worst decks of all time. Depending on whether or not they draw their Waste Nots. Azcanta. Whiff. I mean, honestly, in our deck, Azcanta is, yeah, I mean, we're going to get in there. Opponent's got about one turn to draw an answer to this Hall of the Storm Giants. We have seen Field of Ruin, so we know they do have them. Hold on to the land for looting purposes, and I think We might, oh yeah, we got there, right? Like now even if our opponent draws removal, they can't pay the ward. Discard the land. Opponent discards the land and fire it up. All the one of fun of getting the job done. Well, okay. So game 1, we learned that we can't beat Waste Not when they draw Waste Not. Game 2, we learned when Waste Not doesn't draw Waste Not, things are much different, much better. I still don't think we want the surprise. I still think it's a bad surprise matchup. Well, can't keep that. This is pretty good. Being down a card against... Yeah, let's put Pile onto the bottom. Being down a card against Waste Not's not what we want, but, well, okay. Budget mana, play the Swamp, go. Bennett, Schwamp, and... Well, no Waste Not on turn 2 is pretty good. Yeah, let's just Thought Erasure, I think. It's tempting to try to wait and get creatures down, but I expect the creature's just gonna die. Alright, well, let's take the Shieldred. So opponent's got 2 removal spells, but they have no discard spells. So in theory, we just go on the Disinformation campaign grind. Eventually that Shieldred is going to return. Yeah, opponent's gonna... Yeah, after last game, get rid of that Hall of the Storm Giants. The sneaky Hall of the Storm Giants. Well, grab them out, or grab the island. Spybug, eh? Well, I mean, let the grind begin. Disinformation campaign make you discard. Ooh, another land. The big concern here is they're probably going to be able to channel take Numa to get back Shieldred, and Shieldred does lock down Disinformation campaign pretty well. Opponent, tap land, okay. Swamp. Well, I mean, let's play the Phantasm to eat the Shieldred's Edict, and then Spybug. Go. So yeah, sure, we end Shieldred's Edict here, that's fine. We lose the Phantasm. We could use a Surveil card. Opponent, and... Ooh. Oh, boy, that's bad. Oh, dear. All right. Well, now things are bad. Now things are real bad. Well, Spybug, go. That Invoke... well, okay. It was all lands anyway. That Invoke Despair might beat us. Losing the Disinformation campaign really hurts. Well, okay. Iskanta is at least some filtering. And it does grow the Spybug, that is an upside. Opponent down to 19. Aclazot's definitely, oh boy, and Amaze Mindstone. Aclazot's definitely improved Waste Not. It's a pretty good, well, we'll keep the Starving Revenant. It's a pretty good backup plan. Not sure how we're going to beat an Aclazot's here. All right, what's on top? A land and a Dream Theft. We might keep both. So when it attacks, we have to discard. If it's a land, they make a dork. If we don't discard, they draw. Yeah, Aclazot's got a lot of text. So I think we keep both. Play the Dream Theft as a chump blocker. And it grows the Spybug. We need to get the Spybug. Well, there's a consider. We need to get the Spybug big enough that it stops the Aclazots, which is not this turn. So this turn we menace in for damage. So we can chump block. Opponent's going to get to draw an extra card. I mean, at this point, we're pretty much all in on this Spybug. If the Spybug dies, ooh, Christ to the top. If the Spybug dies, we probably die with it. About it. What did you leave on top? Goes combat, draws a card. I mean, I guess that's the best we can do. Down to 8. I mean, the Spybug's gonna get big enough if it lives. Oh. Oh, okay. That's a problem because Aclazots is a real god. Unlike these newfangled mole gods that it actually protects itself. So yeah, I think we're done now. Aclazot's just gonna keep coming back, and we don't have a way to permanently answer it. Well, mill the consider. Doesn't do anything now. Fairy Dream Theft. Well, let's do a little surveilling. Disinformation campaign. I guess we'll keep it, but really, there's no way out. God, too good. Can't beat it. We made a game of it, though. It was close. I guess we can keep this. We have the consider. Little awkward. Oh, boy. We really need black mana. We're really leaning on this consider to find us a black source. Otherwise, things might be sad. Hold the Storm Giant, go. Island for our opponent. Ruin Crab. All right. Well, that's black mana. So our opponent is apparently mill. You don't see mill in Pioneer too much. Well, let's Spybug go. Opponent's going to turn on our Starving Revenant pretty quick. Opponent, Ruin Crab, mills us, sure. Another disinformation campaign. Well, play the land, get in for one. I think we're just going to leave up this counter spell here. 3 is where our opponent has some of their biggest mill spells, right? That's like Tasha's Hideous. Really? Reliquary Tower? What is our opponent up to? Opponent's playing some commander over there. Psychic Corrosion. Yeah, that's good enough to counter. Plus it grows our Spybug. I think at this point we start milling lands. I mean, this isn't bad, right? Also, milling lands gets us closer to turning on Starving Revenant, which is relevant. Well, play the Pathway on black and a little bit hungry. Get down the Starving Revenant. I mean, I guess we just draw them, right? Like, mill's not damaging us. The only upside to milling them is really that it gets us closer to descending, but I think we'd rather just have more bodies, especially if our opponent's mono blue mill. It's not like they have a sweep or anything. So we should be good just to get them. About it. Ruin Crab mills. And hi-hoo. Tasha's hideous laughter. About it. Oh, another Revenant. All right. I think we might be in good shape here. It's going to be, I mean, I guess it's close, right? Opponent did just mill a bunch of cards. Revenant's turned on, though. Do we just draw? Yeah. Let's draw them both. That's a lot of Revenant triggers. Ping ya. So we gain 4. Opponent takes 4. Starving Revenant's actually impressed me. It's been better than I expected. Are we blocking? Wow, opponent goes to 3. All right, so essentially our opponent needs to make us die this turn. They need to make us die or wrath our board. Can you do it, opponent? Island mills us. We should be good, right? I think we have enough cards left. Okay, Sky Scanner, sure. We are definitely good if that's all our opponent's doing is Sky Scanning. Well, ping ya, disinformation. We don't even need to attack here. Disinformation campaign, drain ya, and that was the Starving Revenant game. Revenant just went off. It just went off. Well, it helped that our opponent was filling our graveyard. I don't know if we really need to change much. Like, Blood Operative seems good, right? Because we can play it from the graveyard. I don't think we want to go combo mode. I don't trust that Mono Blue Mill has enough creatures for the combo. So maybe just maybe like Operative, and I could see maybe Thought Erasure, but I don't even know if we need that. Feeling pretty good. Whenever you see your opponent just run out a Sky Scanner, unless it's Richard in Commander, then you feel pretty good about where you're at. All right, Thought Erasure in. I think it's worth it. Being able to snag the big mill spells is relevant. Dream Theft is actually good, right? Because it gets milled over for value. I kind of like the idea of just playing Archfiend Fairly here, just as like a big flyer. Because it's basically going to be a race, right? Our opponent's essentially trying to burn us out with mill, while we are just trying to beat them down before they do. So no surprise this game, but we've gotten some good surprises along the way. Some that even surprised me because our opponent could have played around it. Oh, that sounds actually great. Yeah, I mean, we can cut down the crab. We got a Thought Erasure. We got our Revenant, which is apparently a ridiculous bomb. Yeah, we'll play the dual land. Our life total is like under 0 pressure this game. I don't know if Mill could kill us with damage if it wanted to, honestly. Let's play the land, run out the Spybug. Get the clock going. About it. Island. Sky Scanner. It's a Sky Scanner. All right. Yep, opponent's gonna Sky Scan. Well, we will Thought Erase. Make sure our opponent does not have another devastating Sky Scanner in hand. Oh boy. Cancel Jace's, and do we want another Thought Erasure? Yeah, we're gonna keep it. We do have the Consider, which we can use to draw another card here and grow the Demure Spybug. We do want to land, but between the counter spell and another Thought Erasure, I think we can just keep our opponent from doing anything relevant, really. Like if they go to, so this turn they do nothing. We probably also do nothing. Disinformation campaign. We would have liked to hit a land. I mean, I think really, though, they're going to tap out for a patient rebuilding. Then we just counter it, grow the spy bug, and surveil for land. Bone it. And then next turn we can thought erasure to get rid of the other rebuilding, and that should just be game. Search for Escanta, not a land, at least immediately. Although it would be pretty quickly. Grow the spy bug. Fairy Dream Theft, well, thought erasure you. Ooh, those cancels not gonna get it done. Take the patient rebuilding. Is this some sort of like intro deck or something? This is a very strange build of Mill. Not only is Mill and Pioneer already like a very weird rogue archetype, but this is like a very odd build of it, right? With cancels and reliquary towers and patient rebuildings. I would imagine like rogues would drown in the lock or something. Like that style of Mill is pretty good. This is, I mean, Sky Scanner. There's a Ruin Crab. Post land drop, oh boy. Oh boy. Well, yeah, opponent. Gonna scoop it up. Oh, well, Sky Scanner. Not good enough to beat Surveil Surprise. Sweet. So what do we learn this week about Surveil Surprise in Pioneer? And overall with the deck, we went 5-5, so 50% win rate, which honestly for a $63 7-tick stack is pretty good. We got to see the main deck Surveil plan be good. We saw the Surprise Metamorphic Alteration Archfiend of the Draws plan be really essential to stealing some wins in matches that we otherwise had literally no business in winning. So the deck felt pretty solid, and one of the things I'm excited about is I think it's also pretty upgradable. So if you look at the deck, I think the main deck non-land cards are actually pretty good for a Surveil deck. Yeah, maybe you could like quibble with some small things here or there, but overall it seems pretty solid. The easiest way to upgrade the main deck is we have 14 basic lands right now, and there's really just no reason for that. So play more Underground Rivers, Drowned Catacombs. You don't even have to play the expensive dual lands, but just add in like 8 more of whatever Dimir dual lands that mostly come into play untapped you have in your collection. That's going to improve the deck. A couple of Field of Ruins could also be good in this deck as a way to answer opponents' creature lands or whatever. The other place I think the deck could be improved is maybe in the sideboard. So we have 8 slots dedicated to the Surprise plan. That's not going to change, but like Price of Fame, I found myself wanting a cheaper removal spell. If you look at the build right now, we have a couple of cut downs, all the pylons, and then our sideboard removal spell is Price of Fame, which is often 4 mana to kill the thing we need to kill. So I'm wondering if some more cheaper removal, even like just a Doomblade style effect to go for the throat or something, or more cut downs, or maybe some fatal pushes, maybe that could be worth adding to the sideboard, but really that's little stuff around the edges. So overall, Surveil Surprise, it worked really well for a budget deck. It's super fun, super unique, plays a lot of cool cards that no other deck gets to play. So if you're looking for something super cheap in Pioneer, I would recommend. I don't think it's breaking the format or anything, but it's definitely good enough that you can grind your way up the ladder slowly on Arena or have some success here FNM in Pioneer. So anyway, that's Surveil Surprise. That's our budget magic deck for this week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.